Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 12 o'clock on a Sunday. It's time for a Q&A. This is where I take all the questions that you've asked over the course of the week and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, first of all, thanks for any questions that you've asked this week. I really appreciate it. Secondly, as I say every single week, if I've missed your question, I'm very sorry. All you have to do, leave it down below in the comments down below and I'll get to it next week. I film these on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, so it's always best, wherever possible, to try and get the questions in really Monday evening at the latest. Finally, I don't really read these beforehand. You're getting my raw, unfiltered opinions. If it needs a longer video, I tend to do a longer video on the subject at some point down the line. This is going to be a slightly shorter Q&A because I've literally got to jump on a train very, very soon to get to a gig. So, yeah, I'm going to try and rattle off as many questions as I can. Let's get to it. Here it is, this week's Q&A. Okay, so the first question is from Andy Putt. And Andy Putt says, which forks and where do you buy your forks for liquid metal? I know World Magic Shop sell them for a good price, but I wanted to hear from you since you're the biggest advocate for liquid metal. I do love liquid metal, and I've tried lots of different forks. I tried the Sans Mines forks, which I think you can still get. I tried forks from a catering company at one point, but it'll always come back to the World Magic Shop liquid forks. They are the best. They feel solid. They're easy to bend. They're the perfect forks for this routine. Honestly, for the price and for what they actually do, I don't think you're going to find a better fork. I'd go for the liquid forks from World Magic Shop. Okay, we've got one more question from Andy Putt, and he says, excuse me, do you have plans to put good tutorials on your version of a trick that's not yours on Netrix? What I mean by that is the N2D trick where the tutorials are shit, where we can use an amazing Craig Petty tutorial so everyone can perform the trick without pausing and rewinding the tutorial 500 times. Or like the video you put on YouTube a few years ago with the force you use on socks by Michael Hoyt instead of the one in Michelle Hoyt instead of the one used in the tutorial. Maybe you can protect the Craig Petty tutorial on Netrix with the password of the trick so everyone gets the trick, so only people who bought the trick can watch it. Thanks in advance. Have a nice week. This question comes up again and again. I do have a lot of touches that I put together for existing routines, and it is something I'm going to do. But we upload 5 new routines to the Netrix every 2 weeks. This would not be part of those 5 routines because I don't think it's fair for someone to subscribe to the Netrix and not be able to do the trick because it's using an object or a prop or a gimmick that they maybe haven't have bought. So I want the 5 tricks that we put up every 2 weeks to continue. But I think I'm going to be uploading extra tutorials. We're going to have a different section on the Netrix where I'll kind of have tutorials on marketed products. That's something that we're looking at doing before the summer. The whole Netrix platform is having a big overhaul at the moment, and we're changing around categories, and that will be announced in the next couple of weeks, the next month, but we're adding categories and we're making it even more user-friendly. We're adding a lot of the features that people have said would be a nice feature on the Netrix. So that will probably be one of the features. But yeah, thanks for your question. It's something I am considering doing. It's just finding time, but definitely by the summer, that's when that will be happening. So the next question is from social media megastar, one of the best magicians in the world as far as I'm concerned, James Samuel. And James says, hi Craig, hi James. What magic would you choose to perform for a table that didn't speak hardly any English? I think I'd make it really visual, James. I've had that a few times. I have I live near the JCB factory, and I get booked quite a lot to go over there and do close-up magic when they've got delegates, and normally these delegates will be from foreign countries and they won't speak any English at all. And so I've got a lot of experience kind of dealing with this sort of thing, and I tend to just go for really visual material. So what I mean by that is, for example, I might show a coin so it's very clear, like look at the coin, do a vanish, make them realize immediately that I'm doing magic, split it into 2, split it into 3, go into a 3 fly, just really visual stuff. A lot of coin magic works well. This is not the time to do your best Eugene Berger impression and start going into long drawn out patter routines. I'd say keep it visual, and also keep it so it's very easy to explain what you're going to do without actually having to explain. So for example, a chop cup is a really visual trick, but you have to explain, hey, I'm going to make the ball go under the cup, or hey, you've got to watch the cup, you've got to watch the ball, it could be in my pocket, it could be in my hand. It's very difficult to very, very quickly convey that if they don't understand you. You could do it, but it'd be a lot easier to just show a coin, have it vanish, pull it from behind their ear, have the coin vanish again, make it jump over there, make it jump 20 times bigger. Same with the Rubik's Cube, taking a Rubik's Cube, mixing it, throwing it up in the air and having it solve. That's something that they can very easily follow. Having someone pick a card and they pick the card and then the deck vanishes or something. That's another example. So I'd keep it really visual, stuff where they don't have to, you don't have to communicate too much. Another good one would be some sort of build chains, like maybe extreme burn. Fiber optics would probably be a really good shout on this as well, because they can see what's happening. It's a piece, it's 3 pieces of rope. They go together, you know, it's very easy to follow. I suppose that's the key, make it really easy to follow. So the next question is from Stephen Peters, and Stephen says, is there a way to search the Netrix by difficulty level, like medium card tricks, easy coin tricks? Also, is there a way to look up the sleights, for instance? Say you wanted to learn the Mercury card fold and wanted to find things you could use it with. Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, we're doing a big overhaul of this, as I said in the previous question. But in terms of searching sleights, that you go into the Sleight school and then things are pretty well laid out. It's like coin palms, coin vanishes, click passes, and it's the same with cards. It's like card controls, card palms, second deals, full shuffles, card utility items. I think Mercury card fold is underneath there, but we are making everything searchable, so it is becoming fully searchable. That's one of the updates that we're doing, and we're also going to have a database that people can access. So there's an awful lot going on behind the scenes with the Netrix at the moment, but you can actually go into the various different Sleight schools, and you can, when you're on the landing page, so let's say you go into card utility moves, if you scroll down to the bottom, it'll say a course curriculum, and it'll show you everything that's explained in there. So you can go, oh yeah, Mercury card fold, and then you can go into it and just click on the Mercury card fold, for example. But it's becoming it's evolving, 2.0. It's very exciting. Okay, so the next question is from Stephen Peters, and Stephen says, now that Max Maven is gone, who do you think is the next in line as the community's foremost scholar in crediting history? I would say, well, Dennis Burr over at the Conjuring Archive is doing a bloody good job of that, isn't he? He's trying to like really make an amazing resource of that place and really keep everything under one roof. But if I had to pick one person, I'd say Michael Close. Michael Close is doing an incredible job. I mean, there's a reason why he's the guy on Penn and Teller Fool Us, right? I think that Michael Close, in fact, that's who I go to an awful lot of the time. There was a couple of crediting questions that I had when I bought out Visible with the 1914. And I messaged Michael and I said, hey, Michael, I've got a question. Is there any chance you could help me? And he said, yeah, video chat me now and we can chat. And so I jumped on video chat with him, which was really surreal. And I asked him a very obscure question. And he was referencing articles from magazines from the 1960s and not like, oh, let me think about this for a minute. He was just like going, boom. So I'd probably say Michael Close is the guy. I'd say I can't think of anybody else who's at his level, but that's from my personal experience. Okay, so the next question is from Mike Tyson by TKO, and he says, just watched your Scott Alexander 5x5. Great stuff. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for doing that. You're more than welcome. Now I'm inspired to do Meisers Dream for some kids that I perform for. Can you recommend the best bang for your buck source to buy? There's a ton of options on all different sites. It's kind of, I would say that the two best versions of the traditional Meisers Dream are Jeff McBride, absolutely 100% Jeff McBride. If you want to make it more theatrical, or if you want to make it fun like Scott's routine, I'd go for Chris Capehart, who brought out a DVD specifically about Meisers Dream, I think through Cosmo Magic, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, Chris Capehart's routine is great. In fact, Scott's routine that I posted in the 5x5 was pretty much Chris Capehart's routine. It wasn't it wasn't Scott's own routine that was marketing. He was performing Chris Capehart's routine. So if you like that routine that Scott did, I'd go for Chris Capehart. It's the routine I did. I don't do it anymore because now I use the Copeland Coins Goblet, which I did a review on, and you saw a live performance of Ryland doing a few weeks ago. But yeah, I would. If you want the traditional Meisers Dream, I'd go for Chris Capehart. Okay, so the next question is from Sean McNulty Magician, and he says, I have another question. When you're performing cube in bottle, are you ever concerned with the noise of the cube rattling in the bag? If the spectators hear it, they might think it's been in the bottle from the start. I think I've answered this question before on this channel. I'm not too sure. Sean, no, it's never an issue. I don't think anybody performs cube in bottle more than me and Ryland, other than maybe Henry Harrius. And I think between us, we probably picked him as well. We do it all the time at every gig. And Ryland, every single gig he does, he gives away a cube. I give away a cube every wedding that I do. Cube in bottle is amazing. And I don't have an issue with it at all. But I have a slightly different handling to it. If you've seen the 5x5 from a few months ago now, I did a live performance of my my cube routine. I do a slightly different way of doing it. I use a Takamiz, a Sui sort of ploy to make it look like I've got two cubes in a bag, whilst in reality one of them is the cube in bottle. So I don't use the gimmick that comes with the set. But having said that, I've got that cube in that bottle, in that bag from the very beginning, and nobody ever notices or hears anything. And I do it close up, right there at the head table at a wedding, and I've never had anyone say anything. So 100% it's not an issue at all. It's that old expression, isn't it? If you're not being chased, don't run. Yeah, don't run if you're not being chased. So yeah, it's totally not an issue. Just a bit of practice and they won't hear anything. Okay, so the next question is from CFM Productions, who says, how old was Ryland when he did his first ever legitimate magic trick? And I wonder if there's a Guinness World Record for such, like youngest magician. He did a coin flurry at the age of 2. 100% he was vanishing coins at the age of 2. I don't know if you class it your first legitimate trick, but he was making coins appear, making them appear from behind his ear, behind other people's ears. That was definitely the age of 2. I've got videos of him doing that. He did his first cube solve, where he passed it in between his legs and it solved. He did that at the age of 3. I think his first proper trick was the cups and balls, just the standard penetration through, not the one he does now. And I think he was 2 or 3 when he did that. I think also linking rings came very early on. I think he was like 3 or 4 when he did linking rings. 2, I would say, is his first ever thing. Is there a youngest magician? I don't know. Let me know, somebody, or I'll do some research into it, because I've got video evidence of him at the age of 2 doing magic. So maybe he would win the Guinness World Record. I don't know. Okay, so the next question is from Mago Antonio. Mago Antonio says, great video as usual, Craig. Thank you very much. Instead of a question, I'd like to know your opinion about a theory I have with no answer. 2 days ago, I was performing Walkaround magic and a guy didn't want to be amazed. He was constantly giving illogical solutions to the tricks, and his family called him an idiot for his outrageous solutions. Doing invisible deck, he said that the face down card was obviously the 4 of hearts because it was next to the 5 of diamonds. Why do you think that some people don't want to be amazed to not look stupid, and in doing so they end up looking more stupid, which is what they were trying to avoid in the first place? Thanks. You know, here's the thing. Different people get something. Start again. Different people get different things out of magic, right? Some people watch it and they just want to be entertained. Some people watch it and they really believe in what you're doing. And some people are desperately trying to figure it out. And the people that are desperately trying to figure it out are the ones that will take pot shots at guessing how the trick works. And you know what you say, and I totally understand why. You say, you know, they were calling him an idiot for his outrageous solutions. And I totally get that. I totally get that 100%. You know, doing the invisible deck, he said that the face down card was obviously the 4 of hearts because it's next to the 5 of diamonds. But internally, he probably thought that that was a potential solution. I don't think he was trying to sound stupid on purpose. I think he was trying to figure out how the trick worked, and some idea popped into his head and he thought, oh, I think I know how it works, and he said something ridiculous. But let's be honest, if you actually told a layman that the way that some tricks are done, they would say, you know, they'd call you an idiot. Like, if they didn't know you were a magician, if you went and watched an illusion show and they didn't know you're a magician and you said how some of those illusions work, they'd probably just call you an idiot. It's an outrageous, okay, let's say, for example, mnemonica. I have somebody name a card and I cut to it. There, that's your card. I do that all the time. If if a magician did that in front of a lay person and they didn't know that I was a magician, and I said to them, I bet he's just memorised the entire deck, and when they name a card, he just cuts to it. That sounds ridiculous. That sounds completely implausible. And they'll probably say, oh, you're an idiot. That's not how it's done. Don't be stupid. So it probably felt like it was a sensible thing to him, just not a sensible thing to anyone else. But people try to work stuff out, right? That's what they do. You know, certain people will sit there trying to work it out, especially, you know, men a lot of the time don't like to look silly in front of their kids. I've had it in the past. I had a complaint once in my kids' entertainment company. We had a legitimate complaint. The party went brilliantly. And the dad, who hadn't booked anything, the mom had booked it, he complained. And the reason he complained was because he was upset because his kid wanted to know how the magic trick show was done, and he couldn't tell his kid how it was done. And he was angry that the entertainer made him look stupid in front of his kid. That's a legitimate complaint that we had in the company. So people just want to work stuff out sometimes. That's what they want to do. When you're aware of that, you can deal with it in a few different ways. The way I deal with it is I'm very sarcastic. So if that was me and he said, oh, you know, it's obviously the 4 of hearts because it's next to the 5 of diamonds, I'd just say, oh my gosh, you're amazing. It took me 20 years to figure out how this stuff was done. You've got it straight away. I mean, it doesn't matter that cards are shuffled and different cards will end up. It doesn't matter that there's tens of millions of different combinations when it comes to a deck of cards being shuffled. You nailed it straight away. Be honest, are you in the magic circle? Are you? Because, oh my God. I probably, but that's my style. That's how I kind of perform. If you've seen live performances of me, you'll know that's kind of the way that I go. That doesn't work for everybody. I know that there's going to be people that are going to be watching this that say, hey, that's too confrontational. And that's fine. Different people approach this sort of thing in different ways. You know, you could turn around to them and say, dude, look, look, here's the thing. It's not real magic. I'm not going to float up in the air. I'm not going to fly off into the sky. You know, it's a card trick. I'm just trying to entertain you. I'm just trying to have fun with you. Don't try and figure out how it's done. Just have fun. You know, you could go down that approach. You could just ignore him. You could let his family deal with him. You could empower him and let, you know, I've got a trick that I put on my Vanishing Ink Masterclass called empowerment, where you empower the spectator to do the magic. They are the ones that end up doing the magic. They are the ones that end up doing the coins across. You could, and I have done this many, many times, you could say, look, buddy, I can see that you want to see how it all works. I'm going to teach you how a trick works, okay? I'm going to teach you how it's done. In fact, I'm going to get you to give it a go. You go down that route if you want to. You could turn it on its head and go in a different direction and say, look, I can see you trying to figure out how this stuff's done. Let's go in a different direction, and then bring out like 3-disc Monty or 3-card Monty or, you know, something like that, and really fry his brain. There's so many different ways you could go. So many different ways you could go. So ultimately, and at the end of the day, it's up to you which way you go with it, but there's a lot of different options. Okay, so the next question is from Greg Machisno, and he says, the Jerx, I love the Jerx, has a handling for the Out of This World on his site that I've used a lot, Simplex Out of This World, and it works great without the need for elaborate presentation setup or difficult sleights. Can you do it for a Matt test? I think Matt would be fooled badly. I think that's a great idea. 100%. I'll do that. I love the Jerx stuff. His subtlety with the Swindle Switch by Paul Curry, his subtlety is amazing. So much great stuff from the Jerx. I'll go check it out and I'll do it in a Matt test. I think that's a really good idea. Okay, so the next question is from Seth Howard, and Seth says, hey Craig, I hope you're well. I'm looking to incorporate a drawing duplication into my stage act. Is there a prop you could recommend, or would be better off getting Pete Turner's work on it? Well, anytime you're wanting to do mentalism on stage, I would recommend getting Pete Turner's work on it. He's the greatest living mentalist in the world today, as far as I'm concerned. But if you want to do a drawing duplication, you know, there's the really expensive route of going down and doing it and going for the Mindbuster pads or the Pinter pads or whatever they're called. You know, all of those work. That's not a problem. If you want to go down that route, they are brilliant. My friend Thomas Maloney uses that all of the time, and I know he gets a lot of mileage out of it, which is fantastic. There's nothing wrong on stage just doing a very, very simple center tear or something like that, and just, you know, as long as you've got a good reason for the center tear, and that's where you go and have a look at some of the stuff from the 1914. But, you know, doing a center tear or something like that will work absolutely fine. Not a problem at all. My favourite way of doing a drawing duplication on stage is I do the tattoo routine by Bill Abbott. It's available on his website. Can't remember what it's called. Let's have a look, shall we? Bill Abbott tattoo trick. There's a close-up version. There you go, BillAbbottMagic.com. There's a close-up version and there's a stage version. And it's $125 for the stage version, I think. Or is that the close-up version? Not too sure. Go look on his site. But the whole idea is it's a little bit like a sneak thief type routine. So you get 5 people to design tattoos, and they design the tattoos, and they design where the tattoos are going to be. And then one at a time, you look at the tattoos that they've designed, and you tell each person who's done which tattoo. And then the final tattoo, you don't look at it, and instead you do a drawing duplication in real time. For the final tattoo. It's really good. It's really good. But that's done in a completely different way to anything else. It's a little bit like Magician's Graphology by Andy Nyman from Get Nyman. It's that sort of style where you're incorporating a drawing duplication into a longer routine. That works really well, but it depends on how much you want to spend. If you don't have much money and you want to keep it cheap, do a center tear or something like that. Or a Peak wallet, anything like that will work. But if you're wanting to go bigger and go more expensive, go for one of the electronic devices. Okay, so the next question is from Adrian Suter, and Adrian says, "Hi Craig, I'm looking for stage tricks that are very visual, can be performed to music and don't need too much practice. What would you recommend?" I'd recommend going onto Ryland's YouTube channel, to be perfectly honest. A lot of the stuff he does fits into that category. Let me think of some. Here, Infinity Cubes and Super Wand don't require much practice, and they look really, really good. I think it's as powerful as multiplying balls, but you know, it's just making tons of Rubik's Cubes appear. That's really good. You can do Miser's Dream to music, and it's not a difficult routine to do. You're only palming one coin. Miser's Dream looks great. The new Goblet by Copeland Coins looks fantastic as well, and same thing. You don't need much palming ability to pull that off. Let me think. Clonk, if you've ever seen Ryland do the coins across thing where they land in the bucket, Clonk 3, which is a French trick, it's available from all good magic dealers. That's a great trick to do to music as well. Sponge balls can be done to music. Fiber optics can be done to music really, really well. If you've seen Ryland does 20th Century Silks to music using Back to the Future style theme, and he uses a silk frame, that's really good. It doesn't need too much practice. Yeah, stuff with appearing canes looks really good as well. Snowstorm doesn't require that much practice really. Anything like that, I'd say. I hope that helps. Next question is from Rob Bailey, and Rob says, "Hi Craig, since your video on the crystallised Dave Bonsall Propdog controversy, has Propdog Dave Bonsall responded to you? How is your relationship with them now?" No, they haven't, and I would happily chat to Propdog. As far as I'm concerned, I'm fine with Propdog. I would, you know, if I need to buy anything from them, I would happily buy anything tomorrow. I still think that Dave Bonsall is incredible. I still think that Propdog is an amazing company. I think that Dave's work is brilliant. I think he's a legend within the British magic community, and I think he's great in so many ways. And also the video that I did, it wasn't designed to attack Dave. It wasn't designed to attack Propdog. It wasn't me shouting about the situation, but I felt I was backed into a corner and I needed to put my point of view across, because a lot of people were saying, "Oh, crystallize this, crystallize that." And I stayed quiet on it for over a year, but I wanted to put my point of view across. As far as I'm concerned, I'm done with it. You know, I just wanted people to know things from my point of view. My biggest regret is that the crystallized thing didn't turn out like I wanted it to, but my relationship with Propdog, I still think that those guys are amazing. Okay, so the next question is from Ken Thompson. And Ken Thompson says, "Hi Craig, thanks for what you do. You're more than welcome. I was wondering what your thoughts are about technology-related effects for walk-around gig situations. I'm talking about Amverdes style dice, color match, Pitatas, effects, watches, NFC, Scribe, all the various iPhone apps. How much do you rely on these? Are you ever worried of these gimmicks failing? I attended a fantastic magician's very popular Parlour show recently. They presented an effect using a popular single die that went wrong. As a professional, they recovered nicely, but it degraded my confidence in these effects, which can be so powerful when they work correctly. Cheers, mate. Both me and Ryland use colour match, use the Anverdi colour match, and have never had a problem with it. Ever. Like, never, ever, ever had a problem with it. In fact, I had problems with the Pro Mystic one, but me and Ryland probably have, between us, performed the colour match, the Pro Mystic one, about 100 times. Not the Pro Mystic one, sorry. The Murphy's one, the Anverdi one, about 100 times. Never had an issue with it. So I'm fine with that, although I've heard horror stories of it going wrong, but it's never happened to me. I think it's such a good effect. It's worth taking the risk, and both myself and Ryland have the same out. We've already figured out, if it doesn't work, what we do about it. And me and Ryland do a two-person show sometimes, and we do colour match where Ryland ends up in this crazy outfit, and instead of actually using the electronics when we're doing the act together, we use a simple coding system, which is, obviously foolproof. I don't really do any of the others. Matt uses the single die all the time, and he's never had a problem with it, that I'm aware. Look, obviously the more electronics you use, the more that things can go wrong. And that's always a problem, but no risk, no reward. If you want to do a lot of these tricks, they do amazing things. They do absolutely amazing things, but there is the small chance that at some point they might go wrong. And that's something that you have to be aware of. Ryland does the dancing Hank in his act all of the time, and it involves a remote control, and that is operated by him and so on and so forth, but it's a remote control type thing when it's dancing around in the bottle. And I've seen him do that so many times. Twice it's gone wrong. Twice. And it's been because of the remote control both times, but it's been our fault both times because we never charged the remote control up. So, I mean, if you can eliminate that user error, then it's worth the risk as far as I'm concerned. But it's the same with any magic, isn't it? I mean, it's the same with everything. Like thread work, you could say the same thing to thread work. What happens if the thread snaps and you're in the middle of a routine that requires thread, and then all of a sudden the thread snaps? What are you going to do? It's the same sort of situation, really, isn't it? It's the same with a lot of things. I do an illusion act. What happens if this particular illusion doesn't work, or this goes wrong, or that goes wrong? Anything can go wrong in magic. We take a risk every time we walk out on stage, and it's really about having an out. And I think if you're using electronics like you are, if you're using anything really, but especially electronics, I think you need to think through an out beforehand. You have to expect that at some point in your career, at some point in the lifespan of that trick, it might go wrong through no fault of your own or through user error. And if it does go wrong, you need to figure out what you're going to do about it before that happens, so that you can be in a situation where if it does go wrong, you can fix it. I think as long as you've got an out, as long as you've got a way, and that's why Ryland's confident with the colour match, because he knows what to do. If it goes wrong, he already has an out. In fact, he's got 2 or 3 different outs. So as long as you know what you're going to do if it does happen, then I don't think it's so much of an issue. But yeah, lots of people are using it. Gets great reactions. A lot of this electronic stuff gets great reactions. It's down for the individual. Okay, so the next question is from Eric Elmore. And Eric says, "Hi Craig, I've been practicing magic for the last year or two. I'm really just a hobbyist, but love everything involving magic. Good job, man. Welcome to the best club in the world. My question is, did you ever have shaky hands when performing for public? Performing for people? I can practice an effect and have it looking really great, but when I go to perform in front of someone, my hands start shaking and it just really gets annoying. Any tips? Or is it just keep doing it and eventually it'll get comfortable performing? Absolutely love the channel and Netrix. Keep up the great work and efforts." Thank you, buddy. Thank you so much. And thank you for being a subscriber to the Netrix and Magic TV. So first thing that I would say is go and watch an old video I put up about 1.5 years ago, how to deal with nerves. Just put in Magic TV, how to deal with nerves, Craig Petty, something like that, and it'll come up. It was a 15, I think it was 15 different points on what you can do to stop feeling nervous before a gig, or to manage those nerves. Because your hands are shaking, right? Because you're nervous. You're worried. You're worried about if the trick's going to go right, if it's going to go wrong. Nerves are natural, right? And they manifest a lot of the time in people having shaky hands. And yes, I had that for years. I had that. Somewhere I've got a VHS video of my very first performance for a Rotary Club in Bloxwich. And I was so nervous at one point, you hear the cameraman at the back of the room go, "Is there an earthquake?" Like, really, really embarrassing. I was so nervous. And you know what? It was just keeping going. But there are things that you can do to manage the nerves, and I went through those in the video. But the biggest piece of advice is something that Ryland said to me, because he's been, if you think about it, he's 10. He's been in some very stressful situations. Live semi-finals of Britain's Got Talent, walking out live, knowing that if anything goes wrong, it's going to go wrong on national television. That's a nerve-wracking experience, especially when he was doing some really complicated sleight of hand. He had 30 kids doing dress code all at the same time, and he had to do a really complicated illusion that throughout the whole day wasn't working. Like, that's a nerve-wracking situation, to say the least. And he turned around to me and he said, just think of yourself as being excited, not nervous. And he's probably heard it from somewhere else, but he said that excitement and nerves have the same sort of attributes to them. It's the same thing that manifests itself in the same way. So every single time you start thinking, "Oh my God, I'm really nervous," don't think about being nervous. Think about being really excited, and change your mindset and your approach towards this, and you'll start managing it, and eventually things will get better. And then one day you'll just look back and you'll go, "Do you remember the time my hands used to shake?" And you'll be giving other people advice on that. Don't give up. That's the key thing. You've only been doing magic for a year. You know, it's a stressful thing to do. It's very, very nerve-wracking. Performing magic, it's not like singing. With singing, you can get it. You're not having to go out there and fool people. You're not having to go out there and pretend that you can actually, read minds or whatever. So, just take your time and have fun with it. Remember, you do this because you're having fun with it. You enjoy it. It's a fun hobby that you love. Okay, so the next question is from Divi Rao, and Divi says, Divi, could you please do a talk magic with Magic Singh? Absolutely, Magic Singh, I know you're watching this. Or I know somebody is watching this that knows you. Dude, get in touch with me. I want to do an interview with you. I want to do an interview. You're one of Ryland's favourite magicians, man. You're one of Ryland's favourite magicians. He follows you on Instagram. He loves everything that you do. Please do an interview on Magic TV. So the next question is from Magic Human, and Magic Human says, what jobs are there in magic that don't actually involve performing magic, and how do you get those jobs? A lot of the time, like Lloyd doesn't perform magic. He's a creator of magic. When he worked at Illusionist, he was hired to create magic and to source other artists that have created magic and bring them into Illusionist. Now he's working with Murphy's. He's doing basically the same thing, right? So a big route into it is to become a creator for one of these big companies. Be a creator. How do you get that job? You put yourself out there. Chris James, follow Chris James on Instagram. He's doing everything right when it comes to this. I wouldn't be surprised if one day soon a company snaps him up and he starts working for a company, because he's very creative. He's shown over and over again he can take tricks and he can turn them on their head and showcase many different ways of doing the same thing. He's become friendly and he's made friends with some movers and shakers in the industry at some of the big companies. Everybody knows who he is. He's got a big Instagram presence. He's doing everything right. The other thing that I think you could do is learn a skill that will become useful if you are working for one of these companies. Like a lot of the people that work in these companies that I know, people like Nick Poper, people like Eric Tate, people like Nick Lacapo, people like Javier, people like Lloyd, D. Christopher, Lewis Lavelle, the list goes on and on and on. They're very tech savvy. They're good at filming. They're good at editing. They understand cameras. They can go and do a shoot. They understand how to edit. They can make a trailer. They can use Photoshop. They can do a lot of the stuff. They can take a project and they can manage that project from inception through to completion because of the skill set that they have beyond just doing magic. So that's one option. The second option is working in a magic shop. You know, that's another thing that you can do. Go and get a job working in a magic shop. There's a lot of jobs out there. There's a lot of magic shops out there. You know, throw your name in the hat and go and speak to them. They might be hiring, they might not. Don't know, but that's another option that you could do. And again, if there's a production company and they film a lot of stuff, maybe you could be on the camera crew for those companies or something like that. I don't know. Warehouses. I know that constantly Vanishing Ink and Murphy's and Penguin are looking for new people to work in their warehouse department, which is a great maybe starting point, and then you could work your way up. I know that Penguin over in Columbus, they have a gimmick building workshop where they hire people full time to make all of the gimmicks for their tricks. And from there, you know, if you're a creative guy, you could probably go up and up and up. And I think that's how Nick Poper got to where he was. He started off making gimmicks. Watch the interview with him. He started off as a kid hanging out at Penguin. Then he got a job working in the gimmick bit. And now he's, you know, producing products for them and stuff. So, you know, I think the key thing is, you want to get a job in this industry that's not performing, put yourself out there. Let everybody know who you are. Be so good that they can't ignore you. Okay, so the next question is from Cole Hawksforth, and Cole says, have you considered a stripper deck project as one of the entries to your gaff series? Yes, 100%. It's coming, but I need to get the Svengali project out the way first. Next question is from Keith Wolf, and Keith says, in regards to the sponge balls, what do you think about the sponge ball dropper by Hansen Chen? And the rest of the line, for that matter, seems like nearly $100 is pretty steep for a holdout. Have you reviewed that yet? Thanks for answering the Morgan question live. Wow, every coin ever, every Omnicoin ever. You rock, dude. Thanks very much, Keith. You are more than welcome. In answer to the question, I haven't actually seen it. I plan on getting it. I don't know if I'd use it. If I ever use sponge balls in a gigging situation, they're just shoved in my pocket and I just reach in and take them out. I don't need a sponge ball dropper. I use coin droppers, I use deck droppers in various different situations. I don't think I'd see a need for a sponge ball dropper, but hey, you never know. Okay, so the next question is from Boba Luna. Hello, can you recommend a magic summer camp for children and adults in England or in America? Thanks very much. I can recommend one in England, in America. Which is the Camp Island Lake Performing Arts and Sports Centre in Storuca in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. How can I recommend that? It's because that's the summer camp that I worked at, and they have a massive magic section. They're doing magic classes. When I worked there, like 25 years ago, under the tutelage of Brad Henderson, they had like Brad, me, and 3 other counsellors all dedicated to magic. Like it was just a big part of it is magic and circus skills, but they have their own separate magic area and they do magic shows and regular stuff like that. And there's lots of different lessons like coin magic, card magic, stage magic, escapology. So yeah, I'd say go to Camp Island Lake in Storuca in Pennsylvania. The Tannins camp is meant to be good. That's in America as well. Outside of that, I don't know of one in England, but if people do, let me know in the comments down below. Next question is again from Bobby Luna. If you could have performed one trick for the king at the coronation, which one would you have done? Thank you. I would have done the new Mark Bennett and Matthew Wright trick. King's Noble, the Noble 52, King's Secret. And I would have done it very tongue-in-cheek. I would have kind of just said, now, King Charles, there are rumours at the Magic Circle. Obviously, you are a member of the Magic Circle. Your cups and balls are on display down in the museum. And there are rumours amongst the upper echelon of the Magic Circle that you have continued to perform magic all these years, and you actually have a select group of people who you have handpicked. And I'd kind of go into the whole presentation. I think that'd be a really fun thing to do. That's what I'd do. Okay, so the next question is from Ian1023. Hi Craig, really enjoy your products and videos. Got everything you've released this year so far, and it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Know you're a big fan of the WoW gimmick, and I have a new video and have videos about it. Can you do one for the blank version? And the WoW pass case feels like it can be used in so many ways beside the basic routine. Absolutely, that is something that I'm planning on doing at some point down the line, so look out for it. Next question is from Dark Phoenix 13, and Dark Phoenix says, hi Craig, and thanks for your awesome channel. Could you talk about pocket management, because it's very messy in my pockets at the end of my gig. I don't know what's in the middle of the event. Yes, I did a video about a year and a half ago on pocket management, and it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours long, and it's called Pocket Management for Close-Up Magicians, and I literally put all of my thoughts about pocket management into that video, so you can go and check that out. It's on YouTube right now. Go and check it out. That's the video that you want to look at. Next question is from Der Azorth, and Der says, "Hi Craig, as a new trainee in magic, even when being 50 already, I recently got my first public presentation doing a New Year's Eve party. It was a 12-minute stage parlour show, and I went for showing 3 acts: factory blanks, explaining the ink washout thing, followed by All Alone, just time to put in 1 featured card in the printing. My grand finale was Inferno, burning a deck and saving only 1. It went really well, and people seemed to enjoy the little story. I love that idea. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. That all flows together really well. I love the idea that you start with factory blanks. So you start with a blank deck. I'm guessing you switched in All Alone. You didn't just put that deck away and then bring the All Alone deck out. In which case, that's really smart because they think it's the same deck of cards. Yeah, that's a great set. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, so the next question is from the Artist Studio, who says, "Hi Craig, what's your opinion on psychics and televangelists like Peter Popoff, John Edwards and Sylvia Brown, using essentially a Q&A act to con people, in my opinion?" I hate it. I disagree with it. In some cases, the cold reading can work in certain cases, but psychics who use it to con people and prey on their grief, I think, are the scum of the scum. And I know that people out there are going to be turning around and saying, "Oh, Craig doesn't know." All I know is my mom was affected by this. When my dad passed away, and my mom passed away 6 months after my dad, she was grieving so badly, and she was reaching out to people who told her they could reach out to my dad and have messages for him for her from across the grave, and it killed her. It really did. I hate those people. They prey on the innocent. They prey on the grief-stricken, and they do it specifically for one reason and one reason only: to get money. They are taking techniques that are used for entertainment, and they are using those techniques to screw, and I don't want to swear on a Q&A, to screw people, absolutely screw people out of everything. It's disgusting. It's despicable. I hate it. I hate them. My dog passed away recently, and I got an email from a pet psychic that told me that they could have me reach out to my pet on the Rainbow Road and have my pet talk to me from beyond the grave to help deal with my grief. My pet didn't talk to me when she was alive. These people are complete and total scumbags, and honestly, if I could get my hands on one of them, what's my opinion? I think they're assholes. Okay, so the last question today is OM Magic UK, who says, "How do you deal with Ryland doing magic pay-wise from gigs? Do you put it away for him or let him spend and save it?" Bit of both. He has a bank account, and any money that he makes from gigs goes into the bank account. It's a savings account that he will get when he's 18 years old. However, beyond that, he also has money that he keeps in a separate bank account, and there's money that he keeps in his wallet as well. And if he wants something, he's got a piggy bank at home as well with tons of money in it. And if he wants something, like we were in Blackpool the other day, and he wanted a Lego set that was like 60 quid, and I was like, "Okay, I'll buy it for you, and you give me the money when you get back." And he's like, "Yeah, okay." So a lot of it goes into a bank account for when he's older. It's just put away for him. Somebody else has replied, Keith Wolf, "I want to know that about Matt. Are the gigs your company books you boast about, Craig, all done by you, or are the bookings within your company and you subcontract them?" This is a question for another day, but basically, my company does about 15 to 18,000 events a year, and the best will in the world, I wouldn't be able to do all of them myself. We have multiple entertainers through both companies who go out and do gigs for us on our behalf. A lot of them work exclusively for us, but also there's others that work for us, and they get their own gigs and so on and so forth. In terms of Matt's relationship with us as a company, now he does magic, has changed. He still works full-time in the sales department, but we are now booking gigs in for him as a magician as well. And when he does those gigs, he invoices us and we pay him when the invoice comes in. So it's very different to getting the wage that he gets for working in the sales department. He's basically an employee through that. You know, when he works in the sales department, he's an employee, but when he goes out and does gigs, he's self-employed, so invoices us. We pay him as if he's a magician, because he is. He's an entertainer who works for the company. I can get into this if you want to on another video, if you really want me to go into the whys and wherefores of entertainment agencies and how they work and the pay structure and everything. I can do, but I haven't got time on this Q&A. So there you go, guys. That's another Q&A in the bag. Do me a favour and let me know what you think in the comments down below. I haven't answered everyone's question because I've literally just had Ryland come down and say, we've got to leave us. You're going to miss the train. Say hi, Ry.
Hi.
There he is. So I've got to go. Don't forget, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. If I missed your question, pop it down below and I promise I'll get to it next week. Thank you very much for watching. Go join the Netrix. It's awesome. Subscribe to the channel. Love you all. See you again. My name's Craig from Magic TV.